Right, so welcome back, everyone. Let's talk about the week's games. So, I'm gonna zoom myself in a little bit here. Let's gotta, yep, just gotta shift my thing there. There we go. All right, so let's go over the matches we all had because there was a lot of stuff happening this week, or rather, a couple weeks back. So let's start with match one in place here. That would be Boston Legacy, San Diego Wave, having themselves a grand old time to start. Sorry, I'm just getting my notes here pulled up. Trying to be a little bit quick there. So, this game went about as you'd expect. Boston has not been too bad defensively, but they lack a spark on offense. They are definitely at the bottom of the standings, I would say, in terms of what I've seen of quality. San Diego looks very good, but they have been kind of the beneficiary of just Boston not being a complete squad yet. Ludmila got the goal in the 63rd minute, and this thing was pretty firmly in control of San Diego the whole time. Not too much to say on this one. I know we're recapping some weeks old stuff, so I won't keep you too long on the older games here. But yeah, San Diego definitely has proven themselves well. They're at the top of the table for a reason. I know they didn't look spectacular losing to Houston opening week, but Houston looks like they've at least improved enough that that's no longer a bad loss. So, yeah, I would say San Diego is definitely deserving of their position at the moment. And we'll see what they can do now that they've come off the break. They've got an interesting run coming up, so we will talk about that. Orlando and Angel City. The part that I've gone over with that, it'll be a little more in depth later on. That should come up. I'm putting it up later because I know Angel City plays on Sunday, so that video will go up at a later time. But needless to say, this one was a little bit later to the party than I was expecting in terms of scoring. No one scored for the first 83 minutes, and then finally Haley McCutcheon got the scoring start at 84 for Orlando. Angel City leveled it 2 minutes in injury time from Giselle Thompson, and then McCutcheon got another one 8 minutes into injury time to sneak off with the victory after what had been a very defensive heavy first 80 minutes of the match. So we're down to no undefeateds. That was the last one. But in terms of both squads, they showed a lot there. Angel City showed a great bit of promise as to what they can do, even on a cross country trip at the end of a long run. Something that they need to still build on, but something that is there at least to begin with. And Orlando finally showed a little bit of an expansion of their ability to attack. It was definitely more interesting this time around. If they felt a little less one dimensional. So this early season, I think, has been good for Orlando. I would not be surprised to see them make some developments as this season continues. Uh, Houston and Louisville. Okay, this thing was bonkers. So there were a lot of PKs in this game, like a lot of PKs. Shockingly, no red cards though. But Cat Raider for Houston was the first penalty kick, but it was an equalizer because Louisville actually did get the scoring going. As I had said, Louisville very offense heavy, struggles to defend, and it appears to still be their case. Taylor Flint with a penalty kick, 23 minutes in, Cat Raider equalizes it. Later on, Kiki Van Zanten manages to get 2 goals. Sarah Weber also managed a goal for Louisville. So to put in order, in rapid succession, we went into halftime 1-1. Sarah Weber scores to make it 2-1 for Louisville 3 minutes into the second half. Then Van Zanten levels it 3 minutes later, And then another 15 minutes later, she puts them up 3-2. So it was a wild sequence there for a good bit. And then Flint gets another PK for Louisville in the 81st minute to tie the game again. So no one ever really got a gap on each other. It always felt like it was in play. Right down to the final penalty kick of the match. Literally 9 minutes into injury time, they were ready to blow the whistle. And Sarah Puntigam manages a major PK right at the end of the game to snatch a victory from the jaws of a draw. So Houston was definitely in for a wild ride in that game. It was an interesting Friday for them. But yeah, Louisville at the very least is a fun team to watch, even if they are very limited defensively. Limited defensively was not what I would describe what happened with Utah and Chicago, though. Utah and Chicago played pretty much an even defensive game, though I will say Utah clearly looked like the more stable unit. But yeah, Chicago competed well on their trip to Salt Lake. It was extremely impressive to see them keep up. What ended up finally breaking it was a penalty kick again. So Utah was able to generate a PK. Mina Tanaka takes it and gets the goal to send the Royals up 1-0, and that was enough. That was all that was needed. So on that front, very impressive effort from the Stars. I was actually more impressed by the Stars keeping up than I was Utah narrowly coming away with the victory. It's clear these are bottom, not real playoff threat teams, at least to me. So I've been trying to tier these teams off, and I feel pretty safe in saying that these two are joining Boston in the pile of bottom quarter of the league. So moving to that Saturday, Gotham did something that they've been struggling to do, and that was score. They managed to get one pretty quick in their 2-1 loss, with Jaden Shaw scoring just before the half-hour mark. Unfortunately for them, that was not meant to be. Dabinia scored about 7.5 minutes later to equalize it, and then Michelle Cooper, right at the hour mark of the game, pulls ahead 2-1 for Kansas City, and that was pretty much it. Gotham's lackluster offense has been a worrying trend for them. Like, as I'm watching this team, they are currently sitting in the bottom quarter at 5 points, and a lot of it is just failing to register offense most games. Other than the 1-0 victory over Boston, they've been settling for scoreless ties and been taking awkward losses like this. So I'm not going to say it's a permanent setup, but it does seem like Gotham, at least in this early part of the season, has not been up to form, and that should be very worrying. But let's move to North Carolina and Portland. Two teams near the top of the standings here, or, well, let me rephrase. North Carolina should be near the top. They ain't anywhere close to it. They're also pinned with Gotham, but they are at least ahead of them on goal differential. They're sitting in 12th at the moment. Meanwhile, you've got Portland pulling themselves into second place here. In terms of actual standings, they hold a head-to-head on Seattle and also have generated one additional goal compared to Seattle, which is why they're second. But yeah, this draw was a very successful thing here. As if I'm Portland, if I'm a Portland fan, I'm doing cartwheels right now over how surprisingly good this team has started. And in this one, they never trailed. Rylan Turner gets them ahead in the 12th minute before Monica Matsukubo levels it right before the half-hour mark. Olivia Moultrie responds quickly and scores in the 33rd to get Portland back ahead, but then 5 minutes later, Ashley Sanchez re-levels the game for North Carolina. So, watching just around here, it's, again, I look at North Carolina as a team who should be up, and they are competing with the top teams, but they're not generating wins at the moment. So that being slightly off has cost them a lot of points that I would otherwise have expected them to get. So, in terms of their ability to threaten for the Shield, it's going to be difficult now. They're already pretty far back. This next run is going to be crucial. They're going to have to get hot immediately. Otherwise, you're looking at potentially being almost to the halfway point of the season. Because by the time we get to the next break, each team should be past the 10-game mark. So, yeah, it's going to be. If you're still this far back, or even like around the 8th mark, you're going to struggle to make that surge back to the top. Meanwhile, Portland very much looking like a contender again, but they have shown some limits. It's still clear they have some situational issues that haven't been ironed out yet, and we'll see if those weeks off have done them some good. In any case, this was one of but 2 draws that day, because it was followed up with a Seattle and Denver 0-0 draw as well. This one, we actually lived. So, we already know Denver was extremely impressive to me here. I was pleasantly surprised by how much they seems to have it together. That said, Seattle was very much in control for stretches in the early part before really losing control of their own game here, and Denver found themselves on the attack for a good bit in the second half. What I thought was the 2 teams played very clean ball. Both teams appear to be ready for a move towards success. Denver currently is out of the playoffs because of goals for. They're 1 goal out of it, but they aren't off by much. They're very much in the mix. They appear to be a team that could play with the rest of them. So good for them on that. Meanwhile, Seattle, despite laying some eggs there, they are looking like a real team that can make some noise. Sitting in 3rd place right now, 1 point ahead of Angel City and Houston. So we'll see what they can do. I still see some holes in their ability to be consistent, which has me more wary of them, but they are definitely a team to keep an eye on. And to close out, we had a Sunday match between Washington and Bay. This one was pretty much in control of Washington the whole time. This was the match, I think, that finally made Washington look like the serious Shield threat that I thought they were. This also got them back into the top half of the league for the first time this season. And it came off a 2-0 win. Admittedly, they only got 1 goal themselves. Brooklyn Courtnall got credited with one at minute 57. That was an own goal. And then Gift Monday scored 86 minutes into the match. So, Bay appears... if I had to pick, I would say they're going to be the last of the bottom quarter. They're going through that sophomore slump. And they're still good, but they are not up to the level of everyone else. And that is becoming a little more apparent. We'll see if the break changes it, but as of right now, I haven't gotten to do like a pure power ranking. Like I said, it was in busy season, so I didn't get to make the new slideshow the way I wanted to. But if I had to tell you right now, the low quarter at this current moment for me would be Boston at the very bottom, Chicago. I would say Bay. And I think Utah right now is a little inflated. I think they're at 7 at the moment. I would put them... I have them 13th, but Louisville at 12 could also be there too. I think those are going to be teams that are going to be out of it there. But those are my bottom 5. I would say Gotham on execution is sitting at 11th. So it makes for some awkward standings with a lot of these. I'm also going to say at the moment, I would put Kansas City at 10, North Carolina at 9. And just main reasons for that is I don't think Kansas City has shown enough consistency yet. But yeah, so I'm keeping them near the back as well. I would place Denver in the top 8. I have been pretty soundly impressed by them. Orlando has shown me a glimpse of something that I can finally believe in, but I'm still going to pin them at 7th behind Washington because it looked to me that both teams had kind of cracked a code. And if they're both in that same position, I'm going to go with the team that I thought had a higher ceiling. So I'll narrowly keep Washington up there. Houston, I'm still not sold on completely. I'm going to put them 5th in the rough draft here. Just because I need to see a few more samples to really get a feel for them. They've benefited from some favorable outcomes, and I'm not sure how much of it is just luck of the draw kind of stuff. I would have Seattle sitting 4th. Again, I'm not entirely sold on their consistency of the top 4 teams. They're the one I feel is the least consistent. I would have Angel City at 3rd and Portland at 2nd, with the caveat that since they're playing, that's going to resolve itself. And at number 1, I do think San Diego has been the most consistent here, because even in their one loss, they were dominating on possession. They just couldn't execute against Houston and get the goals they needed. So, yeah, I would say San Diego has definitely shown off in this early going, and we'll see what happens there. So you got to have a twofer here. This will also double as a rough draft of what will be the power rankings here. I will only be doing a top 8 in the future, but this will give you kind of an idea for where my top 16, where I rank them all at the given moment. So that is it for now. I will give a game preview here as well in the coming hours. So look forward to that. See ya.